Strawberries and eye health, two ideas that feel warm and familiar. Yet together, they open a story much larger than this small red fruit. Over the next little while, you will see several simple ways to enjoy strawberries alongside other everyday ingredients, while we explore what makes this fruit so valued for eyesight, the nutrients it carries inside its bright flesh, its genuinely surprising history, the traditions people built around it, and the easiest ways to fold it into an ordinary daily routine. Everything here is practical and meant for real kitchens and real budgets. This is the useful knowledge you came to find, and the strawberry is a beautiful place to begin the journey. Let us begin with something that sounds almost impossible. The plump, sweet strawberry resting in your bowl today is one of the youngest fruits on the whole table. Wild strawberries are ancient, gathered by people for thousands of years, yet they were tiny, often no larger than the tip of a finger. The big garden strawberry we know now is only around 270 years old. It appeared in Europe during the 1700s when a berry carried from North America met a berry from the cool coast of Chile, and the two were crossed into something entirely new. One small fruit, and already a tale that travels across oceans and centuries, ancient and modern at the very same time. That is the first quiet surprise, and there are many more waiting inside the color, the juice, and the gentle work this fruit does for your eyes. Because here is the promise of everything ahead. Strawberries are affordable, they are familiar, and they carry real value for the way you see the world. The search for natural foods for eye health so often leads towards something exotic and expensive, when a handful of ordinary berries already holds so much. Let us look more closely at why, and let us start with the very thing your eyes notice first. That thing is the unforgettable red. The color of a ripe strawberry is not mere decoration. It comes from a family of natural pigments called anthocyanins, and the main one in strawberries carries the name pelargonidin. These pigments belong to a larger group of plant compounds known as polyphenols, and they behave as antioxidants inside the body. Here is where the story turns gently toward your eyes. Vision is one of the most demanding jobs your body performs. Your eyes work with light every waking moment, and light, for all its beauty, creates a steady stream of tiny stresses inside delicate tissues. The body answers that challenge with its own quiet maintenance system, and the antioxidants in colorful foods become part of the raw material for that everyday upkeep. A strawberry, then, is far more than a sweet treat. It is a small parcel of color messengers, and those messengers join a much larger effort to keep sensitive tissues comfortable and well supported. Now the story becomes even more interesting, because color in food is a kind of signal. Deep reds, purples, oranges, and greens each point to different helpful compounds, which is exactly why a varied and colorful plate matters so much for eyesight. Strawberries bring the red. In a little while, we will meet the partners that bring the orange and the green, and you will see how beautifully they all fit together. First, though, the single nutrient that strawberries are truly famous for, the one that gives this fruit its quiet reputation as a friend to healthy eyes. Let us stay with those antioxidants for a moment, because they explain so much. Every time light strikes the eye, and every time the body simply goes about its daily work, small reactive fragments form as a natural byproduct, a little like the way metal can slowly weather when it is left exposed to the air. This is a normal part of being alive, and the body is well prepared for it, carrying its own defenses that neutralize these fragments and keep tissues in good order. Antioxidants from food lend a hand to that system. Vitamin C is one of the most important among them, and it does something rather elegant. Beyond acting on its own, it helps refresh and regenerate other antioxidants in the body, so a single nutrient can ripple outward and strengthen a whole network of protection. The eye, working with light hour after hour, is one of the places that benefits from this steady support. There is also a long thread of tradition here. Across many cultures, berries and other deeply colored fruits were quietly associated with good vision and clear sight, an old intuition passed down through kitchens and gardens. Modern nutrition does not treat that folklore as proof, yet it has found real substance in the idea that colorful, antioxidant-rich foods belong in a diet that cares for the eyes. Once again, the old wisdom and the new understanding lean toward the very same simple habit. It is a satisfying thought, and it makes the humble strawberry feel like part of something much older and larger than itself. That nutrient is vitamin C, and strawberries are wonderfully rich in it. Here is a number worth remembering. A single cupful of strawberries can provide close to a full day's worth of vitamin C for most adults. That is a remarkable amount from such a light, sweet food. Vitamin C matters for the whole body, and it holds a special place in the world of eye health. Picture the eye as a living camera. At the very front sits the cornea, the clear window that light passes through, and that window is built largely from a protein called collagen. Vitamin C is one of the ingredients the body uses to make collagen, which means it helps support the very structures that keep the eye's surface clear and strong. Vitamin C also gathers in the fluids inside the eye, in concentrations far higher than in most of the blood, a sign of how much this tissue values it. And it helps maintain the tiny, delicate blood vessels that nourish the tissues at the back, where vision truly comes to life. So, a food generous in vitamin C is a friend to eyesight in several quiet ways at once. This is the moment for the simplest idea of all, and it needs no special equipment. Rinse about a cupful of fresh strawberries, roughly 150 grams. Remove the little green caps, and enjoy them whole as a snack or as the bright part of a breakfast. Whole strawberries keep every bit of their fiber, which slows the natural sugars and keeps the sweetness gentle on the body. Even those tiny seeds dotting the surface add a little extra fiber of their own. A cup a day fits comfortably into a varied diet, and the benefits of strawberries begin with something this easy. Eaten in the morning or the early afternoon, they make a light, refreshing habit that asks almost nothing of your time. It is worth pausing on that image of the eye as a living camera, because it makes the whole subject easier to picture. Think of the colored iris as an aperture, opening and closing to let in just the right amount of light. Behind it, a clear lens focuses the scene, much as a camera lens does. And at the back lies the retina, the light-sensitive layer that captures the picture, a little like the film or the sensor that records an image. For all of that to work smoothly, the tissues must stay clear, moist, well-nourished, and protected from the daily wear of light. This is exactly where good food quietly earns its keep, supplying the building blocks and the protective compounds these tissues draw upon. Strawberries offer more than vitamin C toward that effort. They carry manganese, a mineral the body uses across many of its everyday processes, and folate, which supports the healthy renewal of cells throughout the body. They bring a little potassium along as well. None of these turns a strawberry into a medicine, and none needs to. Their value lies in being part of a whole, a small, well-rounded contribution slipped into a sweet and effortless package. That is the recurring lesson of this fruit. It does not shout. It simply shows up, colorful and generous, and lets the body do the rest. And staying well hydrated is the next quiet piece of that very same picture. There is another gift hidden in every strawberry, and it is easy to overlook. This fruit is more than 90% water. That simple fact carries real meaning for your eyes, because the surface of the eye depends on a thin, steady film of moisture to stay comfortable and to see clearly. Good hydration supports that film, and water-rich foods quietly add to the water you drink through the day. In a world of long hours in front of screens, when eyes so often feel tired and dry, a naturally hydrating food is a small and welcome comfort. A strawberry is a delicious way to sip while you chew. This makes a lovely, gentle preparation that many people enjoy. Slice a small handful of strawberries, drop them into a jug of cool water with a few fresh mint leaves, and let it rest in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours. The water takes on a soft blush of color and a whisper of sweetness, with no sugar added at all. It is a calm, refreshing way to drink more water through the day, and it suits any warm afternoon. The mint brings a cool, bright note that pairs naturally with the berry, and a jug like this keeps well in the refrigerator for about a day. Here is a small detail that changes how many people think about this fruit. Its sweetness feels like a real treat, yet a bowl of strawberries carries fewer natural sugars than most people expect, all of it wrapped in fiber and water. That combination is part of what makes the fruit so friendly to include often, and it sets the stage for the next idea, which brings in one of the most important vision partners of all. Here is a fact that deserves special attention. When people think of foods for eyesight, they very often picture something orange, and there is good reason for that. Orange vegetables like carrots and pumpkin are rich in beta-carotene, a natural pigment the body can convert into vitamin A. Vitamin A sits at the very heart of vision. It becomes part of the light-sensitive pigment inside the eye that allows you to adjust when the lights grow low, the quiet chemistry behind seeing in dim rooms and at dusk. When that adjustment works well, stepping from bright sun into a shadowed room feels smooth and natural. Now, strawberries themselves are not a major source of beta-carotene. Their gift is vitamin C and their bright polyphenols. But this is exactly why pairing foods is so powerful. Bring strawberries together with a carotenoid-rich partner, and you build something more complete than either one alone. Consider a simple blended drink made from about 1 cup of strawberries and 1 medium carrot, softened and blended smooth with a little water. The strawberries offer vitamin C and a beautiful natural sweetness. The carrot offers beta-carotene, and together they paint the plate with both red and orange. Here is the useful part. Beta-carotene is fat-soluble, which means the body absorbs it more easily when a small amount of healthy fat is present. Stir 1 teaspoon of flaxseed oil into the finished, cool drink, and that gentle touch of fat helps your body take up more of the carotenoids. Add the oil only at the end, to the cool blend, never to anything hot. This one small habit turns a pretty drink into a genuinely thoughtful one for eye-supporting nutrition. A blend like this fits well a few times a week, in the morning or with a midday meal. For a softer, sweeter version, a ripe banana blended in adds creaminess, a little natural potassium, and a rounder flavor that many people love. Strawberry and banana together make one of the friendliest drinks in any kitchen, and children often reach for it first. Carrot is not the only orange partner worth knowing. Pumpkin belongs in the very same welcoming family, another vegetable rich in beta-carotene and long valued as a gentle source of the raw material for vitamin A. A little cooked and cooled pumpkin, blended smooth with strawberries and a splash of water, makes a mellow, naturally sweet drink with a lovely warm color. And that same teaspoon of flaxseed oil stirred into the cool blend again helps the body take up the fat-soluble carotenoids. It is a soft, comforting combination, easy on the palate and kind to the stomach. Now, here is a detail that rewards a little curiosity. A strawberry only reaches its full sweetness and its full character when it ripens completely on the plant, which is why a fragrant, deeply red berry so often tastes worlds apart from a pale one picked too soon. That ripeness is also the moment when the fruit is at its most appealing and its most generous. This is one reason strawberries in their peak season are such a delight, and it is also why freezing turns out to be such a clever friend. Berries frozen at their ripe best lock in that quality, holding on to much of their goodness through the months when fresh ones are harder to find, so the season need never truly end. A bag of frozen strawberries tucked in the freezer means a bright, eye-friendly drink is always within reach, whatever the weather happens to be doing outside. The simplest habits, it turns out, are often the ones that last the longest, and there are a few more of them still to gather. Now let us meet two more names that belong at the very center of any conversation about eyesight. They are lutein and zeaxanthin, a pair of plant pigments that the body gathers and concentrates in a very special place. Deep inside the eye, at the small central spot responsible for your sharpest, most detailed vision, these two pigments collect to form what is often called the macular pigment. Think of it as a soft pair of built-in sunglasses, helping to filter some of the harsher blue light and acting as antioxidants right where clear central vision is created. This is the part of the eye you rely on to read a page, to recognize a familiar face across a room, and to thread a needle. Strawberries carry modest amounts of lutein and zeaxanthin, so they contribute to the effort, though the richest partners for these pigments are leafy greens and certain other deeply colored foods. This is where thoughtful pairing shines again. Combine strawberries with kiwi, and you gain a double serving of vitamin C, along with a little more of these eye-loving pigments, since kiwi carries them too. A simple fruit salad of sliced strawberries and kiwi, with nothing else needed, makes a bright and beautiful bowl for breakfast or a light dessert, and it comes together in a couple of minutes. For something a touch more adventurous, a small handful of fresh parsley, finely chopped and blended into a strawberry drink, adds a surprising green lift, along with more lutein and more vitamin C. It sounds unusual, yet the sweetness of the berries carries the herb gently, and the result feels clean and fresh. One tiny pair of pigments, one small central spot in the eye, and a lifetime of reading, recognizing, and seeing fine detail resting quietly upon it. The more colors you gather on your plate, the more completely you feed that delicate, patient work. This is also the perfect moment to let strawberries step out of the fruit bowl and onto a savory plate, where they shine in a way that surprises many people. A handful of sliced strawberries scattered over a bowl of tender leafy greens makes a salad that is as good for the eyes as it is beautiful to look at. The greens bring a rich supply of lutein and zeaxanthin, those two pigments that gather at the center of your sharpest vision, while the strawberries add their vitamin C and a burst of sweetness that balances the leaves. For the dressing, whisk a teaspoon of flaxseed oil together with a squeeze of lemon and the smallest pinch of salt, and spoon it over just before serving. That gentle fat is not only delicious, it also helps the body absorb the fat-soluble pigments from the greens, so a simple salad quietly becomes a thoughtful meal for eyesight. Keep the flaxseed oil for cool, finished dishes like this one, added at the end rather than heated, so it stays fresh and pleasant on the tongue. A salad like this costs very little, comes together in a few minutes, and turns an ordinary lunch into something bright and nourishing. It is a lovely example of how a sweet fruit and a leafy green, so different at first glance, can work side by side in service of the same delicate, hard-working eyes. Let us return now to the long history of this fruit, because it adds a layer that makes every bowl feel a little richer. Wild strawberries were treasured across the ancient world. They grew in woodlands and along sunny forest edges, and people gathered them wherever they appeared. The Romans knew them and prized their fragrance. Old European traditions later wove the strawberry into art and symbol, admiring its heart-like shape and its gentle sweetness. For many centuries, the fruit stayed small and rare, a fleeting joy of early summer that vanished almost as soon as it arrived. Then came that remarkable meeting of two distant berries, a species from eastern North America, prized for its flavor, and a species from the Pacific coast of South America, prized for its size, were carried back to the gardens of Europe and, almost by happy accident, brought together. The hybrid that resulted was larger, sweeter, and hardier than either parent, and it became the ancestor of nearly every strawberry sold today. From a handful of garden rows, cultivation spread across the world, until strawberries now grow on every continent except the frozen far south. A tiny woodland berry became one of the most beloved fruits on Earth. And throughout that long journey, people connected fresh fruits with vitality and bright, clear eyes, long before anyone could name a single vitamin. Tradition sensed a value that science would only later help to explain. That is the quiet beauty of this story. The old wisdom and the modern understanding point in the very same direction, towards simple, fresh, colorful food eaten with a little care. And knowing how to choose and keep that food well is the next practical skill worth having in your own kitchen. There is a charming footnote to that history, hidden inside the strawberry's own botanical name. The modern garden strawberry carries a word that nods to the pineapple, because the fragrant hybrid that emerged reminded people of that sweet, tropical aroma. A fruit born from a North American berry and a South American berry, raised in European gardens, and named with a whisper of the pineapple, the strawberry is a true traveler of the world, condensed into a single bite. Much of that early work unfolded in the gardens of coastal France, where the two distant parents happened to grow near one another, and nature quietly did the rest. From those humble beginnings, growers everywhere took up the fruit, selecting patiently for sweetness, size, and hardiness, until the strawberry became the familiar summer treasure we know today. It is a gentle reminder that even the most ordinary food on the shelf can carry an extraordinary journey inside it, and that the berry resting in your hand is the living result of centuries of human curiosity and care. Choosing good strawberries is a small art that quickly becomes second nature. Look for berries that are red all the way to the top, right up to the green cap, because strawberries stop ripening the very moment they are picked. A pale or greenish shoulder will simply stay that way, so full, even color, is the truest sign of ripeness. The caps should look fresh and green, rather than dry and brown. The surface should be firm and unblemished, and a ripe strawberry rewards you with a sweet, unmistakable fragrance. That aroma alone often tells you more than the price on the label. When it comes to washing, gentle and simple is best. Rinse strawberries under cool running water just before you plan to eat them, and keep the green caps on while you do, so the berries stay firm and do not soak up extra water through the cut end. A soft pat with a clean towel is all the drying they need. Washing right before eating, rather than before storing, is the quiet secret to keeping them fresh for longer. For storage, keep strawberries unwashed in the refrigerator, ideally spread in a single layer in a container lined with a paper towel to catch any excess moisture. Kept this way, they hold their best quality for a few days. And when you have more than you can eat, freezing is a wonderful answer. Remove the caps, spread the berries on a tray so they freeze separately, then move them into a bag once they are solid. Frozen strawberries keep for months. They hold on to much of their goodness, and they blend beautifully straight from the freezer into a cool drink, which means the benefits of strawberries can stay in your kitchen long after the season has passed. Removing the cap is easy. A small knife lifts it out, or a drinking straw pushed up through the bottom pops the green top cleanly away. Little habits like these make the fruit effortless to enjoy every single day of the week. With good berries in hand, the possibilities open up beautifully, and each pairing brings its own gift to the table. Strawberries and apple make a natural match. Chop or coarsely grate a crisp apple, fold it together with sliced strawberries, and you have a fresh, no-cook mixture full of fiber and gentle sweetness. Lovely on its own, or spooned over a bowl of plain yogurt, the apple adds body and a soft tartness that flatters the berry. Strawberries and orange are another bright idea, and a real favorite for slow mornings. Segment a sweet orange, combine it with strawberries, and you create a vitamin C duet that seems to wake up the whole plate, colorful and refreshing before the day begins. For a warm weather refresher, try strawberries with a squeeze of lemon and a small drizzle of honey stirred through. The lemon sharpens and lifts. The honey rounds the edges, And a little of each transforms a simple bowl of berries into something that feels special, while keeping everything close to its natural form. A single teaspoon of honey is plenty. You can even warm this idea gently, steeping a few sliced strawberries with a thin sliver of fresh ginger, and that same touch of lemon and honey in warm, not boiling, water for a few minutes. Then sipping it slowly. Ginger brings a comforting warmth and its own lively character, and good circulation is part of how the body carries nourishment to every tissue, the eyes included. There is even a place for strawberries alongside gentler vegetables. A blended drink of strawberries with a stalk of crisp celery and a little water makes a light, hydrating cooler that leans fresh rather than sweet, easy on the stomach and pleasant in the heat of the afternoon. And for berry lovers, a mixed bowl of strawberries and blackberries brings an even wider spread of those deep antioxidant pigments, the bright red of one beside the dark jewel tones of the other. Each of these ideas uses only a few affordable ingredients, a knife, and a bowl or a simple blender, nothing costly or hard to find. Here is the thread that ties them all together for your eyes. Every one of these pairings adds color and variety is the true foundation of eye-supporting nutrition. No single fruit does everything on its own, yet strawberries slip into almost any colorful combination, carrying their vitamin C and their bright pigments into the mix. That is what makes them such a generous, everyday choice, and it leads to a question many people quietly ask about how best to enjoy them. That question is whether to eat strawberries whole or to drink them. Both have a place, and understanding the difference helps you choose well for any moment. Whole strawberries keep all of their fiber, and that fiber is a genuine friend. It slows the release of the natural sugars, supports comfortable digestion, and helps the sweetness feel balanced rather than sharp. A fresh juice, or a smooth blend, on the other hand, offers a more concentrated and convenient form of certain nutrients, and it can be a delightful way to enjoy the fruit, especially when time is short and you want something quick and bright. A gentle middle path works beautifully. A blended drink keeps much of the fruit's fiber because the whole berry goes in rather than being strained away. And if a drink ever tastes very concentrated, a splash of water softens it and makes it easier to sip slowly and enjoy. Drinking a glass of plain water alongside is simply a matter of comfort, and it suits this fruit's own love of hydration. As for timing, morning or early afternoon tends to be the most comfortable place for fruit in a daily rhythm, when the body welcomes a bright, refreshing lift, and there is a whole day ahead to enjoy it. A handful of strawberries on most days sits easily within a varied diet, and there is no need at all for large amounts. Moderation keeps the experience pleasant and the sweetness in balance. For anyone with a sensitive stomach, pairing strawberries with something creamy like yogurt, or simply choosing the whole fruit over a strong, concentrated juice, keeps everything gentle and kind. Strawberries are meant to be a simple pleasure, not a strict routine, and that ease is exactly why they last as a lifelong habit. The value grows not from any single glass on any single day, but from the steady, colorful pattern of your everyday eating, repeated gently over the years. A word, too, for anyone watching their budget, because good, eye-friendly eating should never feel like a luxury. Strawberries are among the most accessible of all fruits, and there are easy ways to make them stretch. Frozen berries often cost less than fresh and keep for months, ready the moment you want them. Blending a modest handful of strawberries with a cheaper filling partner like a banana or a chopped apple turns a small amount of fruit into a generous, satisfying serving that feeds more than one person. Buying in season, when local berries are plentiful, brings both the finest flavor and the friendliest price, and freezing the extra keeps that value on hand for later. The goal is never to spend more, but simply to eat colorfully with whatever is affordable and close by. This is also a fruit that gathers a family around it. A shared bowl of strawberries after a meal makes a naturally sweet finish that can gently take the place of heavier, sugary desserts, and it delights children and grandparents alike. A small bowl, perhaps a cupful, is a comfortable serving for most people, and there is no need to measure too strictly. Some days it might be a few berries beside breakfast, other days a tall, cool blend to share in the afternoon heat. The rhythm can bend easily around real life. What matters is that the fruit keeps returning to the table, bright and welcome, so that its quiet contribution to healthy eyes and a healthy body becomes woven naturally into the ordinary days. And that brings us to the simplest way of all, to hold everything together. There is one more thread worth drawing out before we gather everything together, and it reaches back to the heart of why any of this matters. Your eyes are among the most intricate and hard-working parts of the whole body. At the back of each eye lies the retina, a delicate, light-sensitive screen that turns the world into signals your brain can read. And at its center sits that small, precious spot of sharpest vision we spoke of earlier. This tissue works tirelessly. It handles a great deal of light, and like any hardworking system, it benefits from steady, thoughtful care. Food is one of the quiet ways that care arrives. The vitamin C in strawberries, the bright antioxidant pigments, the water that keeps tissues comfortable, and the beta-carotene, lutein, and zeaxanthin from the colorful partners you pair them with, all become part of the raw material the body draws upon for its patient, ongoing maintenance. None of it is a single dramatic cure. It is something better and more dependable, the slow, cumulative strength of good, colorful eating, day after ordinary day. That is the honest and encouraging truth at the center of this whole story. And it is why a fruit as humble as the strawberry earns its place in any conversation about vision and about lasting good health. So let us gather the most useful ideas into something you can carry straight into your own kitchen. If you remember only a few things, let them be these. A daily cupful of whole strawberries, rinsed just before eating with the caps kept on, is a simple and affordable way to bring vitamin C, fiber, hydration, and bright antioxidants to the table, all of which quietly support healthy eyes. A few times a week, a strawberry and carrot blend, finished with a single teaspoon of flaxseed oil stirred into the cool drink, pairs the vitamin C of the berry with the beta-carotene of the carrot and helps the body absorb those fat-soluble carotenoids, a small habit with a thoughtful reward for eyesight. And above all, let strawberries be one bright color among many. Combine them with kiwi, orange, apple, a little parsley, or a creamy spoon of yogurt, and let variety do the deeper work. Choose berries that are fully red and fragrant. Store them unwashed and cool, and freeze whatever you cannot use so that none of the goodness is ever wasted. Rinsed gently, kept cool, and enjoyed often, they reward you far beyond their small size and modest cost. None of this asks for expensive products or special skill. It asks only for fresh fruit, clean water, and a little gentle attention. Strawberries for eyesight are not a single miracle held in a glass. They are one lovely, dependable part of a colorful way of eating that nourishes the eyes and the whole body together. And that is where the real and lasting strength lies. And so we return to where we began, to that small red fruit resting quietly in a bowl. Its color speaks of pigments that help defend delicate tissues. Its juice carries vitamin C to support the clear window at the front of the eye. Its sweetness and its water make it a joy to include, and its long journey from tiny woodland berry to beloved garden fruit reminds us how much history can hide inside something so ordinary. Strawberries are simple, familiar, and easy to find, yet they hold real nourishment, gentle tradition, and quiet care for the way you see the world. Let them be a bright and regular part of your table. Thoughtful, colorful eating supports clear eyes and a healthy body, and it can begin with something as humble, as affordable, and as beautiful as a single ripe strawberry.